There's the finished product. Both beds are done. You can see it's working fantastically. I have some planting I have to do today, but it's going to be really cold. Here's the second bed. And I've got my tomatoes, my cucumbers, my marigolds, more cucumbers, and some buckwheat in front planted. And it's all done. And some changes I made where I added some longer PVC to keep that water from pooling up against the side of my bed and rotting it out. I also added these 6 or 8 inch little hose connection things I found at Lowe's. That also keeps that water from pooling up where the inlet pipe comes into the bed, pooling up there and rotting that out. And then the last thing I did was I added plumber's tape around all the male fittings where the connections are coming together. And that white plumber's tape seals up those fittings so there's not water dripping out of all of those fittings. But everything looks great. I need to finish planting out all my plants today. I'll take you through this complete build. Week 6, Riley's Garden. Hi everyone. Sunday morning, and we need to put in the automatic soaker hose system into this bed. Just an overview of what we're going to have. These beds are 21.5 inches wide, and I marked them every 7 inches here. So I'll have a 7-inch planting zone here, 7-inch planting zone here, 7-inch planting zone here. The soaker hose is going to run parallel to this board all the way from one end to the other, loop around, and go back. Now I have to go through the side of this bed and through the side of this bed so I can run the soaker hose through, but I don't want the soaker hose laying on the bare wood. Hi Bella. No matter what wood you have, if you have water dripping on this constantly or every day, it's going to rot out. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut a piece of this Legos for Adults, aka PVC, and we're going to insert it into the hole, and then we're going to run the soaker hose through that so that the water won't be dripping directly on this. So I'm going to have to drill these holes out. Then I'm going to have to fill these beds with a mix of compost and the topsoil that I took out to do this project. And I'll mix it 50-50 with cow manure and the topsoil, and I'm also adding some all-purpose vegetable fertilizer, and I'm also adding some crab meal. And the reason I'm adding crab meal is I have, or had, in 2 of my beds last fall, the root knot nematode. And the root knot nematode makes it impossible to grow vegetables in the bed because they lay eggs on or in the roots and they stunt the growth and nothing grows. And the crab meal is supposed to attract beneficial nematodes that will eat those root knot nematodes or the root knot nematode eggs or both. I don't remember. But I'm doing a little proactive work here just in case I've got the same problem in this bed. Then after the compost is in, we're going to lay in the soaker hose. Then we have to set up the automatic watering system. And let me show you what that project is going to look like. So what I have here is I have a hose running from the spigot on that side of my home. I have that hose running into a B Hyve Wi-Fi enabled automatic water timer. We'll be setting this up. Connected to that is just an Orbitz. One half of this fitting is a slip fit for 3/4 inch PVC, hi Bella, and the other half is a swivel hose connection with a female hose thread, and you can find these in the plumbing section of Home Depot or Lowe's. They will not be in the section where all the other PVC Legos are. So this is a great tool because this will allow me to easily get this unit on and off if I have to, because once this is attached, I'm not going to be able to rotate that to get that off. I have a T-fitting, and then I have my first ball valve leading into this pipe that is going to be feeding water to this bed. Ball valve here in case I have to shut this bed off, but I want the other bed to continue to receive water. None of these lower connections are glued yet, and I need to get this up off the ground. So this connection here, I'm going to have to shorten so that I can get this up off the ground, because I need to be able to weed whack underneath it. If I hit this thin PVC with the weed whacker, it will put a hole in that PVC, and then you've got to repair that section of PVC. It's a pain. The other option I have is to buy some 1.5-inch PVC, cut a vertical line down it, and then put it over this to protect it, which I'm probably going to have to do anyway, just not now. And this PVC is going all the way around and around the corner, and I have an identical ball valve and feed port here for the bed in the front of the patio. And all of this has to be disassembled, cut to size, re-glued together, installed. We have to set up this B Hyve water timer, and then we have to test it to make sure it works. So here I go. Not sure if this drill is going to have enough power to get through here. So I've got the impact driver as well, and I've laid some cardboard down so that I don't get dirt into the motor assembly. And I'm going to come down about that far. Yeah. Not enough power. All right. Repeat 3 more times. Time to mix up my compost and my soil. So we're going to fill up half of one of these 5-gallon buckets with this soil. Good. We're going to put half a bucket cow manure. And wow, that crab meal smells like crab meal. 1/3 of a cup of this. And wow, stinky. 1/3 of a cup of that. Get this out of the way. And we're going to mix it up by dumping between these 2 buckets. And 1 more for good luck. And into the bed. I'm going to repeat this until I get these beds filled up right to the bottom of these holes. And then we're going to install some soaker hose. All right, beds are all dressed, ready for the ball. It's a leaf. I had to wrap some electrical tape around the outside of this PVC. It's slightly smaller than the hole, and I'm just gonna snug it through there with a, there we go, nice and tight. So we've got the soaker hose back there, and we're gonna run the soaker hose all the way through, loop it, come all the way back around. So there's 2 ends of this soaker hose. One end, it's got a female thread, and that's gonna thread on to my feed port. The other end has a cap on it, and this is where we're going to terminate the hose. But this hose is going to get cut so to size that I need. So I'm going to take this end off, and you just wiggle it, and it will eventually come off just like that. So the other thing that and I don't want to lose this, so this is going to go right there. These aluminum tie downs I found at Home Depot, 6.5-inch 11 gauge wire, and we're going to use these to hold the soaker hose in place while we wrap it through the bed. Let me unscrew this cap here, and I'm going to screw this on. Like that. Now, I want it to loop. Right here's my 7-inch mark. So, I want it just like this. I don't know how well those are going to work. We'll see. And I want another one right there. And I'm going to loop that all the way through those PVC pipes, and I'm going to come all the way back around. You see I've got a lot left over, and that's for the other bed. And the last thing we have to do is cut the end of this, say right there. Gonna take our end cap, squeeze that end cap right on there, and one more tie down, and we are done. Let me show you what this looks like. Here we have the hose coming into the bed. I've got it looping around 7 inches, going all the way through the bed, through the PVC on the other side, and looping all around. Sorry about my shadow, guys. So there it is. Sorry about the camera work. One more bed to go, and then I'm going to be gluing some PVC and testing out the automatic hose timer. Bed number 2 is finished. You can see there, I just came short, ran out of my 50-foot soaker hose line, so I put an extension on there. This is the bed in front, going through the PVC. And if I have some PVC left over, I'm going to put in longer pieces so it's hanging over about 3 inches on each side. For now, it'll be okay. Going all the way to the end, and it loops back around. Sorry about the shadow, guys. There's the bed on the side, all the way to the connection. I've disconnected because it's time. Here are my tools for the job. We've got some plumber's tape, PVC glue, brackets, screws, spacer plates. Everything is in place and off the ground all the way to the end, and I'll show you the other side here. I'll level this all out. And then up into the other bed. So now I have to take this apart one section at a time and glue it in. And that is the job to do right now. This all goes together really fast, and it's easy, but it's permanent. So once you glue it, it's glued. You don't get a second chance at it. You have to cut it out and redo it. So I'm going to disconnect all this. There. Okay. So I have to remember this is the top here, so I'm going to leave that on for now. The first 2 pieces I'm going to glue are my swivel on the end to this short piece to this, and I'll just do one as an example. It's really, really easy. Take some PVC glue, and you do not need a lot, trust me. And it's going in this way, and you just rub some on the inside and push that in. That is it. And I'll do one more. I'll do this end here. Just push it in like that, and we're done. And I'm going to have to continue to do this for every connection I have, and then we get to test out, well, then we have to set up the automatic soaker hose timer, connect it to my Wi-Fi, test it, and hope there's no leaks. I'll be right back. We are all hooked up. There's only one connection I'm really worried about, and that is right there. It was a little bit short. I had to put in a spacer piece. Cut the spacer piece a little bit short. But the only way to find out is if we turn it on and it leaks, then I'll have to replace it with 2 more couplings. Not a huge deal. And then around to the side and up and into the bed, and everything's connected. It is time now to test or try to connect this B Hyve timer. We have water. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. My neighbor's doing some work. You can hear him. Bed number 1, looking good. Bed number 2, looking good. Last step for me is to cover this with mulch, and I need to go to the store to get more mulch. Let's have a look at the back side to see if we've got any leaks at all. And the only leak I do have water coming in, but let me show you what that is. That's actually dripping out of that hole. So I'm going to have to fix the level on that. That's okay, I can do that. But the lines themselves are not leaking. I do have a small leak right there. You see that? So I'll have to come back and address that. I think I can put some glue on the outside once it dries. We'll see. If not, replace that section. Not a problem. And it's working fantastic. We have automated, Wi-Fi enabled soaker hose installation complete.